The forge has gone quiet, the bellows blow no more. The forge has gone quiet, the smiths have gone home. Only fading embers remain, and my hearth grows cold. One kiss from you to rekindle it all.
So we're back with episode 2 of Queen of Embers. Where we last left off, you were just beginning to move through Slum Row, had ignited the first gas lamp of, how many did you say?
50.
50.
I think he was exaggerating, but he was also
50, like in Braveheart, 50 men. Or the guy with the Glasgow grin says that. No, but nonetheless, you can see that most of this block, I should say, along this street, is bathed in this kind of pale green light, and all these moths begin to attract the glass globes. And as you continue moving down the street, the next one comes on fairly easily, although there's still a little bit of trepidation as he's lighting it from a distance. Like, you're not sure really what to expect. Like, it seems like he's kind of playing with fire. Like, the man seems very flippant, so it's kind of hard to, like, take him seriously. But he clearly knows what he's doing, and he encounters little trouble for the next hour and a half. Your nerves begin to calm. You feel a little better about being out here. So far, nothing really has stood out to you as being inherently dangerous. Maybe perhaps it's just his view on poor people. Like, it seems kind of like maybe it's misplaced. I mean, you know, who are you to judge? But nonetheless, like, it seems a bit misplaced. I mean, it's very clear this whole area around Slum Row is literally like it is. You know, these clapboard buildings. You have these rows of old, rotted kind of shanties leaning against one another. I mean, the place is just piss poor. There are empty shells of burned out buildings that have just been abandoned. Some have been converted with heavy canvas kind of tarps across them. Imagine like you see in Brazil, like the favela, like those kind of neighborhoods built on the sides of hills. It almost feels a little bit like that. And there are certainly sounds to be heard of people inside, but no one walks the street. Penumbra has clearly scared away most of the people, and anyone with the right mind wouldn't come outside. And even you, knowing the amount of pay you're being given, there's certainly, maybe you're potentially provoking whatever powers may be that had brought the stars to fall from the sky from 3 years ago. But on a moonless night, with only the glimmering of your lantern and the glowing of those green gas lamps. I mean, although this place doesn't feel dangerous, it still feels weird being outside, knowing what happened 3 years ago.
It's a good times.
So are there like offshoot alleyways that like run everywhere off of this main?
There is. It's almost like a maze, but this road kind of winds and twists. Like, it doesn't seem like a road that was built with the objective to go straight. It just kind of meets other roads and it joins them. Some of these roads are cobblestone. Some of them are muddy ruts. Some are clapboard roads, literally a skid road, as it's called, like with wooden skids across it to kind of get across puddles of mud and such. But it seems to be just a number of roads joining one another, and as you look at this piece of unfolded paper he's pulled from his pocket, like, it clearly seems to denote Slum Row.
Yeah.
And he's kind of following that, and as he goes along, he takes a piece of black charcoal and marks the light off. And he says... And he says, well, I do declare, we're not too far now from the Vastas River. There's a bridge right up here, Lovelock Bridge. There's 2 lamps on it. And we gotta come through this alleyway here, so let's get with it.
Alright.
Alright. About how wide are these roads? Like,
about as broad as this table.
okay.
In some cases, some open up pretty wide, but I mean, most of these roads, as you're walking along, you can literally touch almost both houses as you walk along them. But it seems to broaden as it comes toward this old stony, or this old wooden rickety bridge. It leads to the waterfront, and you know the waterfront in Durindal is called the Bastards River. It's actually it is a confluence that was formed here by damming the Axe water further up north, and they caused it to come through the valleys and flow through Durindal. Many moons ago, it is the way that the bastard king Ethan Horn and his people had assaulted Durindal at one point. Long story there, but not directly read. But regardless, it's become known as the Bastards River, and it makes its way through Durindal. It's a wide confluence. It's big enough. It's not big enough for merchant cogs to make their way through, but narrow-bellied ships, single-masted ships, as we say, river ships, could make their way through here. It's not quite deep enough for any sort of ocean-going ships, because, you know, the Roving Girdle is so far, it's mostly landlocked.
Right.
But the Axe Water is an example to the east, the river that splits Aglador from the Roving Girdle, the region, is broad enough for ocean-going ships to go into from the Bay of Mandos. But here, this is mostly meant for smaller, swifter ships. Particularly if they come from Old Lork, or Kaltirian for that matter, or heading that direction, I should say. So you're coming toward this waterfront, and you can see this old wooden bridge kind of arching over. You're kind of at an angle, at a periphery where you can see kind of arching over, and you can see upon either side there are these lamps that are not lit. And the city continues to open up beyond that, the rest of Slum Row. And there are a number of shanties along the side of the road, and there's kind of like a under road that goes below the bridge, probably near the waterfront. This all kind of rises above on like kind of an earthen mound and arches over the Bastards River. But the thing that you note is that within your lamplight is that this bridge is gleaming or glittering with glass or gems or something that's flashing in the light as the lantern. Who's holding the lantern again? My apologies. That's right. So as Harper Claviger on his horse kind of like flashes his light over the bridge, you can see this kind of glimmering of glass or gems or jewels or something all along the top of the bridge, all along the walkway, basically kind of like a balustrade like you'd see on the side of a stair. There's like one of those across the bridge, and there's just glimmers and glow all along the inside of it.
Boy, what do you make of that?
Oh, he says as he smiles. Remember what I said about the Leviathan's Eye?
Yep.
That's Lovelock Bridge. It's where lovers come to consummate their love before they consummate their love. They have themselves a lock fashioned. They bring it here. They swear to one another. They lock the lock on the bridge, and they toss the key in the Bastards River. And that's what seals their love. I guarantee you go to the bottom river there, you probably find mounds and mounds of keys. I'd say there's probably hundreds and hundreds of locks on that bridge.
Huh.
Wouldn't that eventually weigh the bridge down? All the iron locks on it.
It's a wooden bridge. He smiles and laughs.
Yeah.
With hundreds of iron locks on it?
Yeah.
Well, I reckon they can't be that big.
They're just little iron locks like before a door, you fool. You get dropped on your head when you're this small?
No.
It's a big bridge. Just come on now. Don't be.
So would they put like their names on it?
Well, they scratch their names on the backside of it, and they make their promise, and they lock it on the bridge, and they toss the key in the river.
Oh,
So they call it Lovelock Bridge.
that's kind of right nice.
So I'm sure all sorts of manners of bastards and sons and daughters been birthed beneath that bridge.
Well, then let's have a look. See.
So it's more like Love Lost Bridge.
Yeah. Depends on how you look at it, I suppose.
It seems like there'd be lots of love in this town. Lots of love to go around.
Oh, you were making a funny. I get it now.
As you all are talking, Alistair Krim, you notice that you can see a slim woman and a slim young man kind of beneath. They're kind of carrying this kind of small lamp, like this indoor lamp, and they kind of approach the top of the bridge, and they kind of embrace, and you can see them kind of talking. You can't hear what they're saying, but you can see that they're talking to one another, and they embrace for a moment, and the young man kind of places the lamp on the edge of the bridge, and you see they kind of pull up a lock in hand. They're beginning to fasten it to the bridge as they're talking to one another. He's holding her hand, she's holding his, and they're kind of almost declaring their love, you can imagine, to one another.
At this moment, this is the most important thing in the world. Their lives will never be bad or difficult or full of strife. I'll just have this. I'll just be saying this sort of silently to myself. I won't be narrating it.
Oh.
Yeah, sure. You can see that where you're at,
What a weird thing to say.
Alistair, the man kind of points toward the lyre in the sky, and he points toward, you can imagine, the Leviathan's eye, and they both kind of look up toward it, and they turn toward one another, and then your eyes kind of turn toward this too. You see them slowly begin to embrace, and you can see the lock they placed upon the bridge of hundreds of locks that are on there, little padlocks essentially. Like you find on the outside of a house or a chest, you can imagine, like a treasure chest or something like that. Like looks like a little lock, right? All of you need to make standard awareness tests.
Not my greatest thing. Standard awareness. I have a 42% chance.
I got a 51.
51.
Roll anything.
Standard awareness. 43. 68. Oh no.
I
Yeah,
keep
by
missing
68.
everything by
I succeed.
I have a critical success, actually.
Wow.
At 33.
Well, as for Terwin Forrester, as this is kind of happening and this discussion is going on, you're pondering the weight of the locks versus the actual strength and tenacity of the stone and the wood that holds the bridge up.
Well, you know the bridge in Paris, they actually have to cut them off so much because there's so many locks attached to them.
That's right. They cut them all off recently, in
Yeah.
fact. Mhm.
Because it was actually bending the steel bridge.
Maybe it's inspired by that. I can't say. Maybe Lovelock Bridge is inspired by that.
What bridge is that? Where is that bridge?
It's in Paris.
Yeah,
Well, now
I
that-
thought it
yeah.
was.
It's called it's Lemoore something, whatever the word is for it. Anyway, that being said, Terwin, the first thing that you notice is that as the lovers are pointing toward the sky and begin to embrace, you recognize that they're not the only ones there. There's another party, a single person at least, beneath the bridge. Like he or she or whoever it is kind of inching their way from beneath the bridge along the waterfront, and you see him begin to clamber up the side of the bank, grasping onto the reeds and grass, clambering up the hill in the darkness. Now, in your case, Alistair Krim, you too see this, but you realize that as he's climbing, you can see the flash of what looks like a butcher's cleaver that he pulls out of his waistband as he comes up onto the edge of the shore. And he is on the other side of the river, mind you, and you're about 30 yards away. And you see he's kind of slowly creeping forward as these two begin to embrace and kiss upon the bridge.
I'll look to the others to see if their eyes have noticed this
Terwin sees it.
guy coming out.
There's a man over there. He must have fell in.
No. I'll begin walking briskly forward to try to intercept.
At the pace that you're moving, he will easily get to the couple well before you, even if you were running at full pace.
He's got quite a distance.
Yes.
See, did you say that the guy's got anything?
I showed my my knife.
Oh, then I'll start to move the same way.
I'll scream to the couple as loud as I can. Move towards me.
Go ahead and make a athletics test to project your voice that far. It's going to be easy for you. Will anyone join him?
Yeah, I'll say behind you.
Go ahead and you can add an assist die with that then.
All right.
If you would.
Yeah, I'll grab one of your a D10.
Do you have a skill rank in
I don't.
athletics?
So somebody else might have to help with these.
Does anyone have a skill rank now? Actually, hold on. Pause for a second.
I don't.
I would say probably the only people who would be able to do this at this point would be Terwin and Alistair. So Terwin, do you have a skill rank in athletics?
I do not.
Okay, so you don't get the assist die, but it's still easy.
It's an easy athletic test?
Yes.
That's 85%. 12, so success.
Move! He screams out, and suddenly your eyes turn that direction. And Alistair, I keep saying obvious. Alistair starts moving at a very brisk pace, and suddenly, as you see the couple kind of perk up and look toward you, you can see they turn their back and begin kind of moving across the bridge toward you on the other side. And there's someone coming up right behind them, and you can see the flash of what looks like literally a cleaver that a butcher would use to cut the money meat off of an animal, or in this case, a person. And they do not see him at this person at this point. Your eyes all turn that direction.
You said 30 yards?
Yeah. Or run?
No, I'm going to pull my bow out.
Okay, you pull your bow out. So let's take a pause real quick. So we didn't roll initiative tonight, but that's okay. We're just going to go around the table. So no, don't worry about that. We're not going to do initiative. We'll assume that you have the jump at this point on all of them. So in your case, for you, Banneker Steeples, what do you intend to do?
I'd like to use take them down, and it allows me to do disarm, stunning blow, or take down using ranged weapons.
Nice.
I want to disarm.
So you draw what weapon?
I have a hunting bow.
Okay, so your hunting bow is out. What's your load on it?
My load is 1.
Okay, so you pull the hunting bow out and you knock the arrow and pull it back. And what are you intending to do from here?
Well, that would be at my medium distance, so you have to give me difficulty. And
so what are you going to use at this? What perilous stunt are you going to use?
I would like to use disarm.
Disarm. Okay.
I mean, actually, which would be easy. I mean, I don't know how much stuff is covering him.
That's right.
So
until I announce the difficulty rating. It's a distance.
It's the distance. Okay. Well, then I would like to use disarm.
Disarm. Okay. Perfect. So this is going to be, a hard test.
Okay.
At this distance.
Okay.
Suddenly,
Can I attempt to aim, or do I have no? I mean,
sure, if you want.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll make it challenging for you.
Yeah, that would be helpful.
So, as you raise your bow, and you knock it for 1, knock the arrow for 1, you load for 1, you take aim, and then you loose to disarm him. So it's now a challenging test.
Good.
The arrow sails through the air.
So 45.
Do it.
Gosh, can I reroll?
Go for it.
Sure. I should probably
made one roll tonight.
Let's make this test standard because you have the jump on them.
Okay.
Yeah, they're surprised.
Okay, so 55, and I have not made one roll tonight. I've missed. Finally, 29.
Nice. Because he is surprised, he cannot resist.
Nice.
So the arrow, you see this arrow go, and then you see you see literally like miraculously the cleaver drops to the ground, and then suddenly the young man and woman who you can almost see in the lantern light at this point pauses. They turn around. The young man lifts his fist. The girl steps in front of him and says, "John, what are you doing?" And you can see that she's pleading with the man who had the cleaver on the other end of the bridge. So let's go to now you, Terwin Forrester.
No, we just got involved in a domestic.
Terwin's gonna run off into he's gonna run.
Oh.
That direction?
Yeah, so he's got a movement of 5.
Okay. So we'll get halfway there.
Yeah.
You'll almost make it to the bridge. Okay. What about yourself, Harper Claviger? You're on horseback. Get lantern.
I'll the lantern, but we already got one person moving towards, one person who disarmed, and something's going on. So I'm actually gonna just pull out my fire-hardened spear with one hand, lantern in the other. Kind of just hold position and keep an eye out, just in case any funny business is happening about.
You gonna wait?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, I'm gonna. So I would draw for one, right?
You don't need to roll. Take one. No, not at all. It's the
Okay.
beginning of combat.
Okay. And then basically what I'm gonna do is like hold position and keep an eye out, because I don't know, like if this is a shady place, I don't know if something shady is going down, and I'd rather be. My character's a very cautious person, so he's gonna wait.
Okay.
And then, so yeah.
Love it. So Hamish or Harper Hamish, sorry.
Right.
Harper Cloudger is going to hold and wait.
Yeah.
Alistair Krim, what would you like to do?
I'll turn to our host, who I've tried to Amadeus Chandler, and look and sort of do a quick scan assessment to see if this is an ambush, if there's anyone else like coming up behind him or anything like that.
You quickly turn around and look for 1 AP, and you don't see anyone else out in the street. You all seem to be very isolated here.
Right.
There's no telling what's on the other side of the bridge from what you can see, but this man clearly he crawled from beneath the bridge near the waterfront up onto the bank behind them on the other side of the bridge, so clearly he was watching, listening, waiting perhaps.
Sure.
And there seems to be a sense of familiarity between the woman and the person who was holding the cleaver as she screams, "John, what are you doing?"
Definitely. But yeah, this is our. I'll sort of make eye contact with Amadeus and see if he looks like spooked.
Oh, he looks clearly spooked. He's like, "What?"
And with that, I will also run at full distance towards the man, make sure he doesn't get to his cleaver and butcher young bodies in the.
So, what is your movement rate?
I will move 14, so I'll pass.
Nice.
I have 7 times 2, so.
Yeah. So you charge forward.
Yes.
Almost make it to the bridge. At this point, you can see that there is some sort of domestic dispute as they're saying words, but you can't quite make out from here what they're saying. But the young couple, the boy, in fact, is like, this girl's trying to hold him back, and she's pleading with this John person on the other end of the bridge, the one who was holding the cleaver. So, Banneker, what do you want to do?
Well, he didn't. Has he picked back up the butcher knife?
No, he hasn't.
Okay, well then I will start. I'll look over at Amadeus and
he's spooked. He's not sure.
And I'm gonna say, all right, let's move forward and keep a good line, because you're already gone. So I'm just gonna use I have a little bit of military training, right? And I'll say that we should keep a good line. And you're already watching back, so we'll just kind of move forward slowly with the cart.
That's warfare as well if you're going to actually do a test.
Oh, excellent. Well, then maybe you should be telling us what to do.
he just says, "Hold the line." And you just start hustling.
Oh yeah, I just just hold the line. Let's move forward with
you want to hustle forward for 1 AP?
Well, if it's not always on time.
Well, yeah, but grab the cart and Amadeus to come with us. I want to make sure he's protected.
Yeah. So you can hustle for 3 AP.
Okay.
If you move with the cart. So
okay.
What's your movement?
6.
6. Okay, so you move 12. All right, cool. 12 yards. So you are now pretty close to the bridge. You can start to make out faces and hair color and such, and it's clear that from your perspective, Terwin, that these two people who are on the bridge are, you would guess, maybe 15 or 16 at best. You'd be surprised if they're 16. And the person on the other end of the bridge, you can't quite make out because he's past where the bridge the hump goes, right? Mm-hmm. But you can see that they're pleading with this person on the bridge. They're not yelling, but they're having a kind of excited conversation, if you will.
All right. Well, I'm going to try and stand beside the couple. I don't know how much that.
What's your movement?
My movement is 5. So if I went 15 and they were 30, it would take a run to get there.
Yep.
So I'm just going to run up there, stand to the side of this couple, and as they're be like, "Whoa, what's going on here?"
Okay. You quickly kind of come up and ask what's going on, comes almost side by side with this very slight, small, willowy girl. I mean, she's not even 15 as you get up there. You're very, very young. And the man who's beside her is young and strapping and handsome, and clearly they're poor. You know, they likely live in Slum Row. At the other end of the bridge, you kind of suddenly you get this queasy feeling in your stomach.
Yay! As
you look at this literally, he's not a boy, he's a man at the other end of the bridge, and he has this kind of balding pate and this long beard, and maybe it's just the fact that you don't have lantern light with you, you're only operating by starlight, and that the lamps, the gas lamps behind you don't quite cast this far, but this man's face looks misshapen. In fact, he has this strange hump on one shoulder, and one hand is stunted and curled, almost like locked in place like this, almost like a hand that's been atrophied. And she's telling John, "No, what are you doing?" He's like, "He doesn't deserve you. You're mine," he says, as he kind of is pleading with her, and he's kind of almost stomping in place, like he's coming forward. He's kind of moving one foot like this in the dirt, like he's rearing up. It's all very kind of strange and unusual as your eye turns back toward the Leviathans. As your gaze turns toward the Leviathan's eye and you realize it's this penumbra, this is all very weird. So now we come back to Harper Claviger.
Okay.
So you're on horse, you got the lamp, you've been looking behind you, doesn't appear to be anyone else in the streets. Nobody else seems to be hearing this. It's all very isolated.
Judging, because I know that sometimes it gets wide and narrow and whatnot, would I be able to feel like comfortably my horse could get across there with
absolutely.
People? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. You could come forward and people probably move out of the way when they hear your storm horse coming that direction.
Right.
Imagine a Clydesdale.
Right. I was like, people are going to the...
Bread for war and beer.
Bread for war and beer. That's right. That is a storm horse. It is the type of horse that he has. It's literally a military horse. They are bred here in the girdle for their strength and their tenacity. They do not scare.
Right. And so what I'll do is I will move up. Let's see, my movement is on horseback, and I believe 9 plus my agility.
Right, Storm Horse has a 9.
Yeah.
Then add your agility.
So my agility 3, so 12. So I'll move up twice. Okay. So not quite all the way to him.
You hear it you hear its hooves like hammering on the wooden slats of the bridge. This huge storm horse comes. You can see the wood kind of like giving beneath of its footfalls, and it snorts, and its mane kind of blows in the wind. Right. You can feel the steam of its nostrils on your back as you turn around, Terwin.
Oh man, Terwin's really worried about the weight now.
Yeah, he's really worried about the structural integrity of this bridge.
So you literally come forward up the precipice of the bridge with the lamp, and as the lamp casts its light over John, you see this horribly disfigured person. If you can imagine what the Elephant Man looked like with this strange moon-like face and the odd kind of growth on his head and the bits and pieces of hair. Now you know that there are parts of the city where they would bring lepers, but this man does not look like a leper. He looks like he crawled out from below the caves of the salt mines. Suddenly, the hackles rise on the back of your necks, and you both must attempt a standard resolve test to withstand stress. Oh my God!
How'd that work out for you last time?
Yeah.
Well, it's going to work out even better because I'm ignoring a skill rank now, so it's going to be 46.
Oh no.
13 success.
Oh, 6 success.
You steel yourselves on this penumbra. You have 1 AP left.
What I'll do is kind of using my presence and the storm horse. You know, I pretty much can get it to neigh when I want to. So I will get it to like rear up a little bit and intimidate them and say, "All right now," or not that. I wouldn't use that accent, but essentially,
why not?
Because
I'm just gonna
rear up with the horse.
Rear up with the horse and lantern in hand,
like fucking Sleepy Hollow. You're the Hessian.
Yeah. All right now, let's calm down.
What are you doing here? Wasn't it who played the Hessian in that movie?
I don't even know.
It was
he had no
Johnny
lines.
Depp
Right? Johnny Depp was the doctor.
But in the Johnny Depp version, we're talking about.
Yeah.
He was. Yeah.
All right, we are the Dufresne Agency, and we will have order.
You bring the horse to rear. Go ahead and make. So you do these litany of hatred. So go ahead and make an intimidate test. This is routine for you.
Yeah.
I do it a lot. It's a 52. That's a 54. So close.
Okay.
That's okay though. I'll let it go.
Well, you had waited
the
last
last
turn, and you had actually had surprise. So your test would be
I'll take
routine, or be easy.
Okay.
So you
Then
didn't
I would
succeed.
succeed, yes.
Yeah. So as the horse kind of, you can see his whole body kind of muscling and bristling within the darkness, and then it kind of comes in on all fours and kicks up dust, and you can see the wood splinter beneath of its massive hooves. Both the young man and woman kind of step aside. Taryn moves aside, and this
Creature?
mutant, would be the best way to describe him.
Right.
He takes 2 steps back. Horses! Horses! He says as he's kind of stammering at this point, and he's clearly like, his eyes are kind of bloodshot. You can smell the scent of booze. You can see what looks like a shattered bottle at his feet. He hasn't yet reached for the cleaver, but as this happens, he begins to rethink that.
Right.
I wouldn't do that.
So, Alistair Krim.
No. I'll move up. Yeah, how many yards away am I? I moved 14 last time, so I'm about that far away from him again. So I'll do another double move.
Okay, you
I'll
hustle
continue
up there.
running into the fray.
You come up there and kind of stop, and by all gods, this thing must have crawled out of the river. It looks like a man, but it doesn't sound like a man. And the girl clearly is familiar with him.
Do I see him,
Oh, yes.
reaching for the cleaver?
No, his eyes turn toward it. Everyone's kind of in arrest from Terwin kind of storming up the bridge at this point.
Right.
But he may be rethinking that as his eyes turn toward the flash of the cleaver, not more than 5 yards away.
How far away is that cleaver from me?
5 yards.
So basically, it's kind of 5 yards between both of us?
Sorry,
Like,
5 yards from you and maybe 2 yards from him.
all right.
Just outside of easy reach.
I will look him dead in his grotesque eyes and misshapen face. I really wouldn't do that, boyo. I'll use all the stature that I can of my massive frame to stare him down and convince him not to proceed with his current thought process.
Make a routine interrogate test.
Interrogate? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not good at that.
Aren't you a jailer? Or you're a convict?
Oh, he's convict.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. 13, D55. Critical success, actually.
Nice.
I went for 11.
He says he's kind of snorting, and he wipes his nose free of mucus, and eventually you all kind of come up there and begin to take stock of what's happened.
Yeah.
This girl is saying, "Don't hurt my cousin." She turns around and kind of puts herself, interposing her between you and him. He kind of lowers down and rubs his nose with his atrophied hand and kind of pulls the cloak over his face. He's sick. He doesn't know. He doesn't know. And the man behind him says, no, he cannot stop us from being together, Claire. Stop, Leo, stop, she's proclaiming.
Oh, this is just a domestic.
Montague! I'll have you! No! He says as he's kind of leering behind her, and this clearly like you're not sure it's clear what's kind of happening here.
All right, now shut your faces.
They all kind of stop at this point.
Not a single word out of any of you. So I'll walk over to where the cleaver is, and pick it up, and I'll just toss it in the river.
Okay. drops in.
Alright, you say he doesn't know any better. Well, that's well enough and all.
He's simple, she says.
It may be simple and all, but for a moment we thought he was something worse. So now we...
Kill Montague! Kill him! He says as he's kind of rubbing his nose on the inside of his sleeve, but he doesn't make any moves to come any closer. But she's clearly standing in front of you all, like, as you imagine, like, from a distance, like from what Amadeus is seeing, like upon the edge of this bridge, the gang of you, and the single girl holding her small arms out, trying to keep you from assaulting this simpleton, her cousin.
I mean, if he's your cousin and all, that's one thing.
He was trying to kill me, Claire, Leo says, the young boy. He's going to kill us both. Don't you listen, woman? He approaches her and grabs her hand and pulls it into his.
I think we got ourselves into something that we didn't necessarily mean to.
It's a domestic. Take that off the bridge so we can light it.
I thought he was a mutant, you know.
His mind is fragile, she says. His mind is fragile. It's penumbra. You shouldn't even been out here, Leo, she says. She turns to him.
I quite agree. How about we get you on home?
He snorts.
You can be upset all you want. She saved your life, you know that. We was gonna run you through.
It isn't today, Montague. We'll have you tomorrow. As he's snorting and wiping his mucus from his nose. It seems to be dripping incessantly. Not only is he is sick, but just drizzling out of his nose all along his sleeve. You can see it wet with snot.
You know, something in me doesn't feel quite right knowing that he plans on killing him anyway, just when he's not here. I mean, it's none of our business yet. At the same time, I feel somewhat compelled. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Well, I mean, I'll be compelled to help them, return home safely. But I mean, we can report this to the
Brigandine,
and
they won't care.
Well,
yes, do that. Leo turns around. He will never stop. He must be turned in. I've told you this, Claire. He was born of ill stock. No Capulet is he.
I just wouldn't want anyone to get hurt when they don't need to be.
Hey, just a
I
gas
think
that
if
you
we
are
can
using.
get all of them to go on their separate ways, and if this young man here wants to press charges, well, he can do so with the Brigandine.
Right, so...
We ain't the law here.
Yeah. If he was smart, he'd let things go, as I look at the mutant. And I say to the...
It'll happen tonight, Leo. I'll kill you tomorrow. Cleave or not.
I look at the woman and I say, if he's really wanting to be him, you're going to have to get away from your cousin, because he's going to kill him.
It's not as simple as that. He has no one else to take care of him. John is simple,
Well,
he
then,
says. She says.
Then you need to pick John over him. And if you're smart, you'd either take her away from here, or you'd let her go.
I made a promise to the Leviathan's eye. He'll have her. She's mine.
I was talking to the...
This is John saying this while you're announcing this. Leo is getting more aggravated at this point.
No, I just say one thing to all three of them, and then I'm like, is there anything else that I think the Dufresne Agency can help you find folks with? As he's obviously quite agitated that he got pulled in on something like this.
Yeah.
We
Just
prevented
gonna
a
go.
murder, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna walk over there and
Can't
see if I
feel too
can't
bad
find my
about that.
arrow.
Yeah.
but yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You find your arm and it's snapped. Broken.
The creature snapped my arrow.
Well, I reckon that's
So
what you
this
get for...
new creature.
Yeah, whatever, just go home.
I'm a Capulet.
I think I might have heard you this 10th time. You're a Capulet. Got it.
He's a what?
If
Sorry, I
Boz
didn't hear
Luhrmann
that.
directed this, he's going to start singing in here in a minute.
He's a what? I'm sorry?
Capulet.
What's that mean?
It
It's
would
a
be
family
his
name.
surname.
Ah.
I'm impressed they're using surnames down here.
And one like that.
Mr. Amadeus, can you please
Listen
stop?
to me. You're a soldier now. Brigandine, you look like it.
No.
This is
I
the
don't
young
already
boy.
announce that we refrain.
Dufresne, Brigandine, whatever you are, imprison this monster. You heard him first. He said that if it's not tonight, then he will kill me. He is clearly simple and driven mad by penumbra. If it is not tonight, it will be tomorrow.
We're not getting involved in your domestic. Take your woman home. You and the simpleton can kill each other in the streets as far as I'm concerned. Why does that matter to us? Take it to the true law. You know where they are. Take it to the Brigandine.
You look around the streets and you realize that Brigandine is nowhere near Skid Row.
No, I knew that already. But again, this is the domestic between you three.
Listen, he's not holding the butcher anymore. I can't outright do anything that you're wanting.
Of course, with my bare hands. He says, kind of below his muffled, kind of snarling beneath him, his elbows. He's snotting all over it.
Even though
John, I believe you mean your bare hand.
Even though he's pleading his case for me today.
What do you want to do, boss man? We need to get these lights on.
I kind of want to run him through because he's making noise. But
maybe we
Well, I
slow
think
down.
you don't take kindly to my horse. I'm pretty sure if I trot after him, he'll skit.
But the little lady, she says, listen.
I ain't gonna hurt him. I'll just chase him away a little
We'll
bit.
leave. We'll run away, she says to Leo.
Are you going to do that right now?
She lowers her head.
Because if you're not, he's going to try and kill him. So you need to do it right now. Otherwise, one of them's probably going to be dead.
You need to convince them. Make a standard charm test.
Wrong guy for that.
Listen to me, stupid.
We're not a particularly charming crew, all told.
I'm actually pretty charming. You just can't tell me because I look down on it.
Yeah, you need to care. That's all right. So standard charm will be
Caring is a stat apparently that Banneker has.
No, pride and arrogance.
It's his dumb stat.
Caring is not involved in those.
standard charm is going to be 38,
Okay.
That's gonna be tough.
and a 14 will do it.
Can I use my handle animal on that guy, the simple guy? To maybe
Oh.
convince him to go
Oh,
Man.
What'd you roll?
14. He succeeded.
She turns toward Leo. Claire turns toward Leo. Leo turns toward Claire. He's right, you know. We'll only continue to persist. I'm so sorry, John, she says. You rear up toward this thing, as it was called earlier by Banneker, and John proceeds to scamper off into the streets, the darkness. The couple, they kind of nod, not quite sure if to thank you, but perhaps to take your advice, being young and impetuous and you being so heavily armed as you are. They take one another's hand and they kind of cross back across the bridge where you came and begin to wander down the street where the burning globes of
At least there's light that way.
gaslight
God's
comes from.
damn it! So they're seeming to flee. from
They're
this
they're
area
walking
and-
away. They're gone. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
heading
well,
back. They're
yeah,
heading
guys,
back
going
to the
up.
direction you came.
Wait,
What? No, it's done. It's just a domestic. Wash your hands.
fucking wait.
I'm gonna start putting Amadeus on the ladder.
Amadeus is like kind of watching in bewilderment at this point. He hasn't done anything. Terrell, you turn around and what are you gonna do?
How many shilling you got? I'll say this quiet as they're starting to walk back. How many shilling you got? I'm not taking your money. I just want to know.
Enough?
I'll flick you a shilling.
37.
In a row.
I hand you a crown and be like, give me 20 of them.
Making change.
Okay, I'll give him 20.
He got change for a crown.
And
We hit the vending machine.
Taron, you approach with pockets rattling full of coin. They appear to be indifferent, if not a bit put on edge as you approach. With your leather stressing as one of their your sword rattling and your shield still on your hand.
Against my bad judgment. Yeah, so I'll hand him. I'll hand him 6 shilling.
The boy is taken aback, and the girl kind of shakes her head, and the boy says, "Truly, you cannot be serious. That's 6 shilling.
Get the fuck out of here and go have yourselves a nice, happy fucking life."
He laughs for a moment, kind of nervously, and smiles and takes the coin. And I told you, Claire. Leviathan brought us what we wanted. Now we have a true opportunity to start over. She nervously takes a couple steps back, not quite trusting of the coin that you gave them. You see that she crosses her fingers in front of her, which is a sign to protect herself, a warning of sort. And she crosses it over her fingers, over her heart, like such. And she takes the young boy's hand, and they head off down the road, the Leviathan's road, which you had came through Skid Row. And we'll stop here at Lovelock Bridge for the night. So, 100 reward points to everybody. Good session. Yeah.
We almost... remember that time we...
You almost killed a kid on a bridge.
Remember that time where I almost destroyed a bridge because my storm horse? The structural integrity was really tested at that point.
Wait, far too down.
I think that was a good ending, though. I mean, that was appropriate, right?
I actually liked your characters, like, sort of like
the worst
acerbic nature about it, like.
Well, I was thinking about doing the same thing because I have compassion as my order alignment.
The
so
worst,
I was like, I was probably going to give him some money, and I actually thought about giving her specifically money, saying, well, if he doesn't work out, you should...
The worst thing you can do
He doesn't work out, come meet me.
The worst thing you can do in this game is not give a shit, because that will earn you a ton of corruption.
Yep.
Right? Because I think that it's... Obviously, you're kind of growth. You're not quite tied into Rendell yet, but your investment will grow in that sense. Like, you'll become more engendered to the city and things like that. But I think that a situation like this that was clearly not like straight up combat, but more something that was a little bit more complicated, was a good I think is a good way to kind of start like a good series of dice rolls and deal with these things, and kind of funny, right? So nonetheless, let's go ahead and do some corruption rolls. So I'm gonna roll D10. If it's less than or equal to, you get a chaos rank.
Trey.
I rolled a 2.
Yes.
I had 1 corruption actually, so somehow I avoid it. No, that's good for me. I got an order.
I'll take corruption.
Well, I would have taken either way.
Yeah.
I got a little
corruption.
I'm actually cool either direction.
So, what's everybody's order and chaos ranks at this point? So, we'll go around the table. Just give me just one moment.
Were you supposed to start with some?
Nope.
Okay.
We had in the past.
We didn't.
We did it this
Yeah, we didn't start anything, so everybody should be 1-1.
So, in the case of Banneker, are you order or chaos aligned now?
I am chaos aligned.
Harper?
Oh, chaos.
As you can tell by my sharing and tearing.
Chaos.
Alistair?
How am I the only person who moved towards order?
Because we
I
all
failed a lot of stress tests.
we all failed those 2 stress tests.
I moved towards order.
And I prayed towards the
Leviathan's eye.
Yeah.
What is your chaos alignment?
Mayhem.
Nice.
What is your chaos
Yours
alignment?
is
Melancholy.
Yeah. What's yours?
Arrogant.
What about yours?
My chaos is exclusion. My order is mystery. Both are
Nice.
kind of in the same. Yeah.
So if you
I
think
can play that thing either way.
So when we talk about order and chaos alignments, we think about like what we try to tend to do is that we use the number of ranks to define like what characters would do in stressful situations. I'm not necessarily that your puppet's pulled by 2 strings, but it's kind of like here's what your character would traditionally lean into in situations that are where you're uncertain, which unfortunately means you may grow in corruption, but that's kind of the way the system is set up. You're not necessarily penalized by growing in corruption. You just kind of move toward disorders.
You just got sadder today.
That's all right. So, any last
Yeah.
parting
Yeah.
thoughts on the first adventure for Queen of Embers?
I had fun
No,
with
it's
it.
a good start.
Yeah.
I had fun.
So
Yeah, it's not over, but
that's all right. So
We'll see.
when we return for episode 3, we will have Nick's character Warren Rhodes, the camp follower, with us.
Who's a
And-
Grolstetter? Who this guy doesn't like.
Who was a Gralster, that's right. We will return here, start again here at Lovelock Bridge. So thank you all for tuning in to listen to Queen of Embers. We really look forward to showing you what this campaign's about, learning a little bit more about the campaign world, and have you join in our adventures. And hopefully you'll be able to run this in time soon. Maybe we'll release some of it early to our backers on the Grim Perilous podcast, to give you a kind of sneak peek at behind the scenes of what's going on with the writing. So until then, we'll see you guys next week. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.